Hey souls, what's up? Flipster here, and today is going to be part 2 in the series on the Laney Ironheart IRT60H all tube head, and got the chassis out here on the bench. And today we're going to take the lower preamp board out, and I'm going to be soldering all the through hole connections, just reflowing the solder and making sure everything's got good contact. And that's going to be part 2. Part 3 will be taking the other board out, which is down here, the bottom board. Today we're going to be taking the top board. And I've already got the screws out of this shielding cover. So we'll remove it first. It just slips out like so, very carefully. And that will reveal the input jacks. Well, one of them, it's kind of hidden right there on this shot. I'm sorry you can't see that. And here's the power switch here. That is not connected to the board, so I will not have to remove it. This is the board here that I'll be taking out. This one. This board. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, we'll start by removing the knobs. And techs out there, you'll want to know about this. Don't always put a cloth over the chassis, and take a flat blade screwdriver and go under the knob slightly and just prise it out gently and evenly. And here's one. Get it in the camera. There we go. They're very dusty, very filthy. I'll be cleaning those up before it all goes back together. Yeah, I get the flat blade up under there, and I'm probably against that cloth so as not to scratch the chassis. Number 2. That one was really on there. It still is. Oh, please don't be glued. Severely don't be glued. There we go. There we go. That way you don't damage the knobs, and you don't damage the paint on the chassis. Your customers will greatly appreciate you for that. I'm working on it. That one's really on there. I don't think they've ever taken it off, probably. There we go. One more, or 2 more actually. These are all push-pull pots, so I'm not surprised that they're very tight on there. the middle three, or the bass, treble, and middle knobs are push-pull. Come on now, get up under there. Really don't leave you much space under these. You'll get in there with anything. At least they didn't on this amp. Come on now. In fact, it's even scraping the chassis. Goodness. Ah. That's just cold-blooded. Why did they bother doing that? It was glued. It's alright, we'll be scraping that glue off of there. Looks like someone put liquid nail on it. Anyway, we'll clean that up in a later video. I'll clean that up before I get it all put back together. Okay, now that that's done, there's a little LED right here. These wires are connected to an LED right there. Just take that and gently slide it out of the hole. And it'll just come right out in your hand, no problem. And for some reason they put a lot of silicone and stuff on here. Why they do this stuff I don't know, but that's okay. Excuse me. Okay, looks like I'm going to have to get a socket set, and that's going to take me a little while, so I'll be right back in scene 2. Hey, so it's Flipster here. We're back with this Laney Ironheart IRT60H, and I've already got the knobs pulled off and the nuts out of it and everything. I'm ready to lift the board out and flip it over. I'm going to be resoldering the all of the through hole connections on this first preamp board in this segment, and then next episode I'll be doing the bottom board of the preamp, the one that's got the tube sockets on it, and that'll be a separate video. Anyway, yeah, let's get right to it. So, now I've got all that cleaned up, and we're removing the board. I'm just going to pull it back, just like that, like so. I'm trying to get it where you guys can see it. Okay, and we're going to flip it right up like that. And each one of these solder points, I'm going to go through and reflow all of them. Each one of them is a stress point. Here's some solder right between a track. Oh my goodness. It's difficult to see that sometimes, but it kind of splatters out a little bit. And sometimes the QC people at the factory don't catch that sort of thing. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm giving it a good inspection on the bottom side of the board to see if there's any residue or if there's any jumpered parts, and it doesn't seem to be. All the joints look fairly well. They look fairly well done. And we will see very shortly if this solder is lead free or not. We'll know very quickly once you get the iron to it. Is I use nothing but 6040 leaded solder. The reason for that is the lead-free stuff takes a higher temperature, so you're more likely to burn the pads. Excuse me. Also, it forms a harder metallic bond on there, which makes it brittle. So it's susceptible to cracking and whatnot with shock and vibration. Or I won't say susceptible, I'll say it's more susceptible to that sort of thing. Anyway, yeah, there's another little spot of solder spatter. There's solder spatter all over the place on the inside of this thing.
Did somebody not do a good job soldering it?
Hey, Animal, what's up, buddy?
What's up, brother? Do you need some light? Like more light?
More light always helps in a situation like this. Here's another spot right here. See this little spit of solder right here?
A little booger of solder?
Little tiny thing?
Alright.
I'm finding this stuff all through this.
Brother, it appears we have to replace a couple of bulbs here. Oh well.
I already got rid of it, but see these little bitty solder spatter spots all over the place in here? Here, I'll help point some of them out. See right there? One right here. Some over in here. A little bit in there. A little bit. They did not remove any of the flux after this. This right here
Now I can actually
is
see
another little tiny spot. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Just got rid of it.
What about right
See,
there?
here's
What
a
is
hole
that?
on the end of this point.
What is that one there? What is that? Or is that
That is a hole
from the other side? Okay.
from the other side. That right there is another spit of solder spatter.
Oh, I see it. Oh wow.
Yeah,
To
I'll
me,
just rub
honestly,
off of
to
that.
me, it kind of looks like bubbles in that clear coat, but as you go through and you are showing me, it is not.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Ooh.
See this right here? That is a puddle of solder flux. All that little shiny that you see around the board, that's solder flux.
Well, Philip, you go right ahead and you continue educating people.
Well, I'm working on it, buddy.
Leave you alone and let you do your thing there, but wow.
Oh, look here. Come here.
You find something else interesting, huh?
Yes, I did.
Uh-oh.
You see right here?
I can tell that's crossed over what, 2, maybe 3 component lines or whatever you want to call those. Yeah, big overflow.
Here it is,
Yep.
right here.
And that
I don't
lets
know if
that
you can
circuit,
see that.
but
I'll
that
try
lets
to
that
get it up
bleed
in
over
there.
into another circuit. That little bit right
I guess
there.
not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm working with a couple of $40 webcams here.
But that's enough to bleed over and cross a couple of circuits up.
Yes, it's enough to cause arcing,
Mm-hmm.
which can cause the board to carbonize, which will cause it to be conductive. Resistors are made out of carbon. These days we have metal oxide, but way back in the day they were made out of carbon,
Yeah.
with impurities in it to make it less and less conductive, or more conductive. Just
Mhm.
depends on what they wanted to do with it.
Cool. All right.
So, getting back to this, I'm going to start reflowing all these joints, every single one of them. I'm going to do them all, and then I'll put this board back into place, and then in the next segment I'll be doing the bottom board. Same shooting match, except the bottom board is a whole lot more involved. It's way bigger. It's about 3 times the size of this one. There's 4 boards in total in this amplifier, and in the last installment of this, well, second to the last maybe, we're going to be modifying the output of this amplifier to juice it up to a 120 watt version instead of the 60. Because the only difference between this and the 60, or the only difference between the 60 and the 120 is it's missing 4 resistors and 2 tube sockets and 2 tubes. That's all. That's the only difference. Basically about $200 worth of work, is what it boils down to. But anyway, I've got the go-ahead from the owner of this amp, and we're going to do that. So, anyway, this is part 2 of this whole shooting match, and here goes my Yiwa 995D Plus soldering station. That's what I'm using. I'm running the 2 millimeter tip. At a temperature of 680 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm using 6040 lead solder. I'm going to start here with the rhythm volume pot. Ah! Heh. It is lead-free solder that this is put together with, unfortunately. keep on going with it. Okay, that's the first part. The first pot, which in this case is the rhythm volume. I do believe that's a 25K. I'll have to see on the back of it. I can't really see that at the moment. Doesn't matter for this purpose. I'm just reflowing the solder joints. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I'm running the iron at 680 degrees Fahrenheit. What you laughing about over there, Annam?
Me really sucking at guitar.
Hey man, you're playing actually really cool stuff, man. I kind of like it.
Thank you, but
that's what we do for each other around here, is we try to build each other up. We don't try to tear anybody down. We try to keep everything positive.
it works 99% of the time.
It's the other 1% I'm worried about.
Hey, 1% is really good, man.
Yeah, right. We're part of the 1%ers.
Hey, that's a good thing for music. Yeah, if you can be around each other as much as we are and get along like we do, that's very important.
Right. It's a bad thing if you're in a motorcycle gang and you're in Los Angeles. But that's okay. I know those guys, they got to tech stuff too.
We love the bikers out there.
Yes, we do. There we go. I'm just working my way through these connections. Just reflowing everything, just making sure everything's set right.
It'll smell good in the air.
And getting rid of any. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Ah! As soon as it turns cloudy, I know it's lead free mixing with the leaded. Yep, there it goes. Oh well. It is what it is.
Now that you mention that, I'm noticing that it's smoking more than normal.
As it should be. There's more flux in this solder. This is very old solder.
Okay. So that's part of the why it's smoking so much. Gotcha.
Yes.
They're gonna say, I've helped you solder many things in this room, and I've never seen it smoke like that before.
That's the first time you've seen this soldering station in action since I got it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Whole different set of tools. Okay.
We really need to get you a little headlamp.
Actually, I'd rather have a overhead lamp was got a magnifying glass in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't have that yet, so I'm working on it. Sorry, you guys, I'm not able to show you this last little bit on the end of this board. It's sitting too low in the chassis for the camera. Let me try to move it over here a little bit, maybe get it more in it. There you go. Okay, I finished up to this point here. Now I'm going to start moving my way across the board this way from this end.
And if you have to stop to take a break, it probably wouldn't hurt to maybe mark somehow
You
to
gotta tin
remember
the
where
iron.
you were.
I can just look at it. It's
Okay, but for the viewers who are not,
and anytime you're working on an amp that has lead-free solder on it, and you put leaded solder on it, the joint will come out looking cloudy instead of shiny.
okay, then that's another good way for the viewers to tell the
That-
difference.
Yes, that's the difference.
I was thinking maybe just a fine point Sharpie and just put a dot somewhere kind of close to it just to remind you, hey, this is where I left off.
Generally, it's a bad thing to mark up the boards. I don't like to do that. What I do like to do is just use a piece of tape and
Something.
write on that piece of tape inside the chassis when it was last serviced and by who. That way there's no permanent markings on it, so if a future collector wants to preserve the originality of it, they can.
Yeah.
Also, future techs will thank you for that, as they'll know when something happened and when it didn't. I'm just keeping on trucking.
Being careful not to put too much to have it bleed over into another.
Well, when you're hand soldering like this, it's always a good idea to keep your iron clean.
There you go. Don't forget to tell viewers, first-time solderers that don't know this stuff already, you got to help them out a little bit too now.
Oh, absolutely. Always keep your tip clean if you possibly can. Sometimes you can't. And never use one of those cheapo $20 soldering irons you get at Walmart or Lowe's for a it looks like I got a little bridging in there. I'm gonna have to take care of that.
Hey, show them what you're doing. You're kind of blocking it
Oh,
with your hands, if you can.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Animal.
Yeah, we need the camera. We can move it around and get it right on top of what you're doing.
Well, I plan on doing
Yeah,
that
well,
exactly at some point.
They can see better. We're in the South. We can duct tape the camera to your head.
Duct tape it?
It's the South. Duct tape's good for everything. Give you a head cam.
Oh, maybe.
The viewers will see exactly what you see.
Get a action GoPro. Why not?
And yes, folks, you can tell the Flipster has been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, it's not exactly my first rodeo. I'm sure it won't be my last either. Got several in the queue coming up.
And if you notice the hand he's holding the solder wire itself in, I bet you the brother can hold some chopsticks and eat with chopsticks very good.
I actually use a chopstick when I'm determining an amp, when I'm doing the initial inspection and whatnot. I use it to tap on the board to see if there's any microphonics.
Oh, well, okay, that's interesting. Used as an eating utensil and a work utensil.
Also not only that, it's also a...
women like to use them to keep a bun up in their hair.
It's mostly Japan, but yes. Sure, why not? Matter of fact, the stick inside of this capacitor discharge tool is a chopstick. This is the capacitor discharge tool.
Yeah, I seen it was homemade, but I didn't realize it was a chopstick.
Right here,
I'll be darned.
this bulge you see in it, from here to here, is a 470 ohm 5-watt resistor connected to a 6-penny finishing nail, and then a piece of 16 gauge speaker wire on the other end of it coming out to an alligator clip. You just clip that onto a grounding point, and the way you discharge a capacitor is you put this onto the grounding point, and then you touch this end to the positive of the capacitors. Of course, you do this when it's unplugged, and it will discharge the capacitors in a little bit slower fashion. It will slow down the discharge to where it will not cause an arc and burn a spot in your board, or have deleterious effects on your capacitor structural integrity as well. So anywho, where was I at? Okay, I just finished with this switch. I've gotten through here. Okay, here we go. This is one that I had missed earlier. Still going on. Just reflowing all the solder joints just to make sure everything's really good on this board, and I won't have to worry about it at all in the future.
The joy of soldering.
Oh yeah, breathing in weird smoke that I didn't cause.
Speaking of which,
sometimes it causes headaches. You get some really nasty type of solder.
Speaking of which, I think the Marlboro man is outside. I need to go check.
Alright. Well, tell him I said hello while you're out there.
Alright, we'll have a puff for you.
Alright, great. Thanks, buddy. Okay, I've already done those. Do these now. Clean the tip. Always a good idea to keep your tip clean. Almost done. 2 more to go. Alright. Got some tiny little through holes right here. Filled at the factory. Okay, that one ain't got no pad. Okay. Lots of little itty bitty tiny dots. I need to clean my tip. Starting to get into some really tiny stuff right up in here on this end of the board. Try to get this over here and get in a better view for you. Okay. Okay, I got that one. Alright. Looks like I got about 3 more of these to do. Man, this is not easy. These little things are tiny up in here. It's alright though, we'll get it. And then the last one. Way over here on the end of the board. It's probably out of the camera's view, but I can't help it. Sorry guys and gals. And I think that's got it. I'll give it one more final look over. And all these look good. That looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Nothing bridged. Uh-oh. A little solder booger there. And get rid of him. And be okay. Another one. That one doesn't solder well, so I'm gonna have to redo it. And I missed 3 of them over here on this side. So here we go again. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. You can barely see them. It's all right though. We'll get it. brother.
Not only did I smoke a cigarette, I have us hooked up and ready to light the grill.
Oh, sweet.
Told you we could get us a slab of beef, baby.
Awesome.
I'm not messing around. We cooking us a good slab of beef tonight.
This day is already going better. Absolutely. Okay. That's gotten us almost done at this point for this part of it. I will clean up the old solder flux later on after I finish with all the boards. I'll do that on all of them. And the way you do that is with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and a toothbrush or a Q-tip, something of that nature. It will work beautifully. So there's the board all reflowed, ready to go back in. And that will conclude this segment of
Professor Phillips'
the
tech gear.
No animal. I appreciate that though. That's a good chuckle. No,
Hope you guys enjoyed it. You learned
hope
something.
you guys enjoyed something out of this. I hope you gleaned something out of this. Anyway, this is the only thing I can find on the IRT60. No one has done an in-depth video like this of one of these so far, so I'm glad to be the first that I know of. Excuse me. And appreciate you watching. And everybody, stay safe.
Keep rocking.
Get saved.
Amen.
Be perfect to each other. And I'll see you later. Till the next one. Later.